One thing that I thought was really interesting that you said in the discussion with David Webb, and you were talking about a river of gold flowing in one direction that ultimately led to the direction of the rich. And you said that those without power cannot defend freedom. And this was something that you've been kind of going back and forth on as far as giving up power and not pursuing power. And I think you've come to the conclusion that good people need to pursue power, because if we don't have good people trying to assume power, then those in power will have complete control, and there's not much that we could do at that point. Can you share a little bit about what you meant with that quote, those without power cannot defend freedom?
Yeah, well, you pretty much touched on it, but there's much more that could be said on it to embellish it and give it some flesh and some deeper meaning. Um, that is the slogan that I selected, or the motto, I should say, the motto for Freedom Force International. And of course, to make it sound very official and very scholarly, we use the Latin um, interpretation of it. And I think it's Defendere Libertatem, um, potentes libertatem non possunt. In other words, those without power cannot defend liberty or freedom. How can we be sure that only good men are in office? Okay, that's the question. How can we be sure that only good men, not tyrants, good men who are not there to enslave or cheat or steal or anything, how can we do that? And Jefferson's response, I'll never forget it. It was a little bit irate, a little bit edgy in his language. He said something like this: let us not speak of good men in office. Rather, let us bind men down with the chains of the Constitution. That doesn't mean there are no guns. It just means that only the government has guns.
Or,
You know,
or the criminals.
or the criminals, yeah. And sometimes they're the same. But anyway, so my little slogan was, guns are dangerous. Guns kill people, and they accidentally kill people. Little children get killed with guns all the time. The only thing more dangerous than having guns is not having guns. So there you have it. That was the dilemma that finally came out of that. Uh, Not having power is more dangerous than power itself, because for sure, if you don't have power to defend yourself, you're not going to have whatever you're trying to defend. Okay, so that was an aha moment for me.